Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will go through what are, in my opinion, the best ways to make some gold in patch 10.1.5. So I will start with the best ones and then I will go until the last best ones in my list. Keep in mind, this is my personal view on the current economy and the current ways to make some gold in World of Warcraft. So maybe you might disagree with some of these different things that I will include in this list. Also, if I miss anything, please let me know in the comments so I can flag your comments and other people can also know about these other activities that, again, I would have missed. And finally, keep in mind some of the different activities I will mention might not be as interesting maybe 1 month from now. So this is something that of course will especially be relevant for the next few weeks, but hopefully it will still be a good way for you to understand what you can do in patch 10.1.5 even in a few months from now in order to make some gold in World of Warcraft. So let's start with our number one. And at number one, I'm going to have something very controversial. And this is something I'm going to put here simply because I know that a lot of people are going to comment that. And so I just want to add it right now. And this is the WoW token. Basically, right now, for some reason, the WoW token is still super expensive. As you can see, it's 381,000 gold when you buy a token. So for instance, if you're playing in the European region, for 13 euros, you can get 381 gold. So basically, if you have even a really bad job, you will be able probably to get at least 381,000 gold guaranteed in 1 hour of work. So again, the whole purpose of this video and the whole purpose of this channel is to show you other ways to make some gold in game. And also for those of you who just enjoy finding ways and selling things on the auction house and just making gold in World of Warcraft. But of course, there is really almost nothing that can beat 381,000 gold per hour just by working a normal wage job. So this is something I'm just going to put here for all the people who I know will comment, well, you can just get a job and you will make a lot of gold. And this is true. Again, if you want to use your money in order to do that, it's good for you. And if you prefer to find ways, then let's move to number two. Now at number two, we're going to have all the new items that you can actually craft in patch 10.1.5, all the different items from Naxx. So all these different items, in my opinion, are really good and you can make a lot of gold with many of them. So as you can see, unfortunately, again, the more you wait, the more difficult it is to actually make some gold with some of them. But on many realms, you can still make a lot of gold with many of these items. So for instance, here, as you can see, I have this one. I sold it like for 300k gold and then 150,000 gold. I have like a few others. Of course, I have all the different Icebane items. Again, these ones are not as good as before, but still on many realms, you can make a lot of gold with these. Same, for instance, with this one right here. And I have like a lot of other examples. So I made a full guide explaining what are, in my opinion, the best items from this new patch that you can craft. I would say you can either try to get the different recipes and plans yourself, or you can simply go on your auction house and try to find them because sometimes they're really not expensive anymore. And so sometimes you might just simply find some of them and then start crafting and make a big profit with all these different items. Keep in mind again, the more we will go into the patch, the more some of these items will not be worth a lot, especially right now the cross-realm trading has been disabled. And as soon as it will be enabled again, probably a lot of people, including myself, will start to just move all these different crafted items on many different realms and start selling them there. So if you want to make some gold, this is the perfect moment. Unfortunately, on some realms, I know some items might not be as profitable as they were a few days ago already, but just go on your realm, check the value, check if you can find some of the plants and recipes, and then start crafting some of them, and hopefully you will be able to make some gold with some of these items. After that, at number three, we're going to have something that I already talked about in a few videos, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but basically these are the different Lamented Crusader items that you can get from Naxx. When you use these different items, you can then craft some tier 3 gear, and so as you can imagine, there is a high demand for all these different items, and they're very difficult to get. So it means that right now you can really make a lot of gold with these different items. So as I explained in my previous video, it is pure gambling. So unfortunately, sometimes you will farm for like 5-6 hours and not get one single item. But sometimes, like myself, you will farm for 2 hours and get 2 of them. So it is pure luck, but again, I think it's still something worth doing. What I would recommend you to do if you want to farm them yourself is to run Naxx with all your different alts, and like that you will have a lot of the different corruptor screw stones and you will be able to open a lot of these different items. Even though it is very a small chance to get one of these Lamented Crusaders items, you will still be able, hopefully, to like have one at least after farming for a few hours. And what you can also do next to that is, of course, by simply flipping all these different items and then reselling them for a big profit. So for instance, here, as you can see, I bought a lot of these different items for a very cheap price, and then I was able to sell them back for a big profit. So for instance, the different shoulders, bought them on average for 400,000 gold. For instance, here, the boots, 450. And as you can see, after that, I've been able to like sell them back for a lot of gold. And also the ones, for instance, I farmed yesterday, I already sold both of them for 560,000 gold each. So again, this is really something that you can make a lot of gold with at the moment, but I do understand it is not something you want to invest your time in because again, it is purely based on luck. And also, sometimes, unfortunately, you might not make any gold whatsoever after farming for a few hours. If you want to understand how you can farm these different items, again, I would encourage you to go watch my previous video. But again, this is something that for the next few weeks, I do believe will be extremely good if you want to make some gold in WoW. After that, I will include on the list flipping. Flipping is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to make some gold with the auction house. I made a video covering what are, in my opinion, some of the best categories of items you can try and focus on. So I would encourage you to watch this video, but in general, I would say that, for instance, all the different plants and recipes, or at least most of the different plants and recipes from Dragonflight are going to be things you want to keep an eye on. Some of them can sometimes be found on the auction house for a really cheap price, and you can then flip them and sell them for a big profit. So again, this is something, one category of items that I would say is really good to make some gold when flipping items. As I mentioned just before, you have all the different items now from the patch 10.1.5, whether these are all the different ancient plants and recipes, or also, for instance, all the different Lamented items. So these type of things are items that will cost you sometimes a little bit of gold, but most of the time you will be able to make quite a lot of gold if you manage to snipe them at the right time and then sell them for a big profit. And you also have, of course, for instance, some of the different cosmetic items. So all these different dinner suits, all the different lovely dresses. Again, some items that I've talked about it a lot in some of my videos, and you can really make a lot of gold by simply flipping some of them. Same, for instance, with the tuxedo pants. So again, as you can see, these are the type of things that you can make a lot of gold with, but I explained all of that in another video. I don't want to go too deep into that. So try to sometimes find some good items on the auction house, and hopefully you will then be able to make a lot of gold by simply investing in them and reselling them later on. After that, we're gonna have cross-realm trading. I know that right now this is something that has been disabled, but when it will be back on, trust me, you will probably be able to make a lot of gold with this new ability. Whether it is by simply crafting some items and then selling them on the auction house on many different realms. For instance, I can think of the Fell Steel Longblade. This is something that you can definitely sell on many realms and that you can really make a lot of gold with. Or it is maybe some items that you farmed in high quantity and you want to sell them on many different realms. So for instance, here you have the Plunder Blade of the Northern Kings and things like that. You will most likely be able to make a lot of gold by trying to diversify the type of realms you're selling your different items on, and simply by being able to sell them to more people. So this is something, again, that right now is still disabled, but when it will be back on, I would really recommend you to try and target some interesting realms and try to really, for instance, craft a bunch of items that you have, or try to, like, send some of the different items that you got from farming and try to sell them on all these different realms. Of course, keep in mind, in order to do it in an efficient way, you will probably need to have a second account and also to just have a bunch of alts on other type of realms in order to do it as efficiently as possible. After that, we will have the Trial of the Elements scenario that you can do in the Primalist future in Teldrassus. So basically, sometimes there is this little event that will spawn just here, the Chest of the Elements. So all you want to do is do this little event. You can go in the queue to find people to help you with, or if you don't see it spawn, you can just go here and just tap trial, and sometimes you will have groups that are looking for other people to also complete the event. And basically at the end of the event, you will be able to get this chest right here, the Chest of the Elements, and inside you will have a chance at getting the design for the ring-bound Hourglass. So this is something that you can get on any of your characters. You don't need to be a jewel crafter in order to get it, and then you can sell it on most realms for more than 700,000 gold. As you can see, I've been able to sell it many times already for more than 800,000 gold sometimes, and this is really something that sells actually really fast. So again, it is based on luck again. Sometimes you will do the event for quite some time and you won't get it, and also it kind of is annoying to wait for the event to spawn, but I do think it's worth it. And again, with the cross-realm trading, you can then trade these different items on hyper realms where these are selling really fast and for tons of gold. After that, we have something that you can do daily, and as you can see, it will take place in the Waking Shore in the Obsidian Citadel. Basically, you want to go all around this area and you want to kill the rare called Rosor Force Smash. This rare will have a chance at dropping the plants for the Black Dragon Touch Hammer, and this is something that you can sell very easily for tons of gold on the auction house. Again, this is something that can drop for anyone. You don't have to play with a character who has blacksmithing in order to get it. As you can see, for instance, recently I just sold it for more than 300,000 gold. So this is still something that is relevant, and it will probably still be relevant until the end of this expansion. So if you can't find a rare, what I would recommend you to do is to go in the custom search and to either type rares or the name directly of the rare, and sometimes you will find a group. You can also start a group if you cannot defeat it yourself, and probably a lot of people will join at that moment. After that, at number 8, we will have something that many of you probably already forgot about, and these are all the different Primal Storms. Primal Storms are events that are taking place in the Dragon Isles, and basically during these events you will be able to kill different type of rares, and all these different rares have a chance at dropping the design for the elemental Lariat. This is again something that can drop for any of your characters, and you can then sell it for minimum 1 million, and on most realms for 1.5 millions. So this is something that is extremely rare, but again, keep in mind, you can then kill the different rares and have a chance at getting that, and hopefully you can then sell it for a lot of gold. This is again something that you can do on every of your character. This is daily, and with that you can also get different type of rewards, so you won't only get the design for the elemental area if you're lucky. After that, we will have all the different recipes and plants that you can get inside of Naxx. So in order to be able to do this farm, you will need to first unlock Zaket's Skull Smash. Again, I made a full guide explaining how you can do so. And so just follow the guide, and normally you will be able to unlock that on all your different characters. This is something that is icon to white, so then you will be able to do that on every of your character. In order to get some of these rare patterns and recipes, you will need to buy these different slime-covered scrolls. In order to do so, you will need the different death bargaining chips, very similar to the different dented raiders gears in order to get the Lamented Crusaders items. In order to get these items, again, you can use either the Invader's Core Stone that you get in Stratholme or Scholomance, or you can also use the Corruptor's Core Stones that you can get in Naxx when killing the different bosses. And then, like that, you can exchange that for some of the different bargaining chips. So as you can see, all these different items are still selling for really a lot of gold. After that, we will have something very similar, and this time, these are all the different plants and recipes from Zul'Gurub. So here, you will need to again unlock first the achievement, and then to start farming all these different Akari Bijou. And then with these different Akari Bijou, you can get some of the Kurubashi tributes, and inside you will have a chance at getting some of these different plants and recipes. Here, most of them are not really worth anything anymore. There's just 2 that are interesting. The Venom River plants, and then also the ancient plants for the Warblades of the Akari Reborn, which are the best by far. I sold many of them for up to 500 to 600,000 gold, and this is still something that is selling right now. So definitely you can try to do that, and hopefully you will be lucky enough to get one of these 2 plants. Then at number 11, something very simple is simply doing all the different world quests that will reward you with some raw gold, because like that you will be able to get quite a lot of raw gold. So again, with all your different alts, just go and check at all the different world quests that will reward you with some gold. Then you just want to do all of them, and like that you will be able to make quite a lot of gold just by doing all these different world quests. Again, this is not something that is going to make you extremely rich, but it's a good way to get a little bit of gold pretty easily. Also, don't forget to turn on the war mode on, because sometimes some of the different world quests for PvP include some pretty good gold rewards. Then after that, we will have the new Megadungeon, the Dawn of the Infinite, because on the last boss, you will have a very small chance at getting the reins of the Quantum Courser, and basically, you can exchange this mount with anyone in your group. Of course, you will need to have cross-realm trading enabled in order to then trade it for some gold, and like that, you can literally sell the mount to anyone in your group, and this is a mount that is very interesting, because then when the person will use it, they will get one of the different mounts from previous dungeons and raids that they don't have, and like that they will then be able to add the mount to their collection. So definitely something that a lot of people would be more than happy to pay quite a lot in order to get. After that, I will also add all the different Mythic BoEs that you can farm in Aberus. So I'm only putting them very low in this list because unfortunately for some reason the drop rate is very high, and so unfortunately, as you can see, on most realms you won't really be able to make a lot of gold by farming these. Only if you manage to get extra stats or maybe a socket, then you will be able to sell it for a lot of gold. But again, this is something that can reward you pretty easily with some nice BoEs that you can then sell again super fast. So definitely something that I wanted to add on this list, but it's not going to make you millions like with previous raids. Then after that, there are a few raids from previous expansions that I think are worth farming right now in order to get some interesting BoEs. So I made a video recently explaining that with patch 10.1.5, Blizzard decided to increase the drop rates of many of these different BoEs. And so it means that right now it's way easier to get, and they still sell for quite a lot of gold. So especially I would recommend you to do the different farms in Tomb of Sargeras and in Enterus from Legion, because these are by far the two best raids, but you have a few others that can be interesting. Again, I made a recent video about that, so I would encourage you to watch it, and hopefully you will be able to make some gold with all these different raid BoEs. After that, I will also include all the different green PvP BoEs that you can craft, all the different obsidian gear. So these ones are not worth a lot, but you can easily make quite a lot of gold with these, especially I would say the ones from jewel crafting and also the ones from inscription, the different trinkets are selling super well. And in general, any of these gears on most realms will sell for quite a lot of gold. So something you want to keep in mind, and again, on most realms you can easily find all these different plants and patterns for a very, very cheap price. So just go in the recipes, and here you want to type obsidian, and like that you will see that on most realms you will really find some of them for absolutely nothing. So then you can just craft them, they're really easy to craft, and you can start selling some of them. Finally, we will have the different island expeditions from Battle for Azeroth. Basically, when you do these different island expeditions, even in solo mode, you will be able to get a currency, and then with this currency you can buy these different crates, and inside you can get some really interesting items. The ones that I think are going to be the best include the Jorundel one, because you will be able to get this weapon right here that sells fast and for a lot of gold. Then you also have the Rotting Mire, because you will be able to get the Razorfin set that again sells super well and for a lot of gold. And then I would also recommend you to try and invest a little bit in the different green boxes, because you can get the Firekin set for lever characters and also the Mel set, the Dragon Rider set. So all these different items are great, some really good transmog items that you want to have up on the auction house, and this is something that you can do solo and pretty easily with any level 70 characters. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Again, keep in mind that there are so many other ways to make some gold in World of Warcraft. For instance, I didn't even talk about boosting, I didn't talk about a lot of old content farms, including mount farms and everything. But these are, in my opinion, some of the best farms right now in order to make some gold in patch 10.1.5. So I really hope it will help you to see a little bit what you can do in the game in order to make some gold. And I hope you will be able to then get more gold by following some of these different activities. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime I wish you all a great start of the weekend. Bye!